This is the world's first wireless studio microphone. This is the Maono PD200W.
It's a hybrid. The PD200W is a hybrid.
The W stands for wireless. This has an internal battery. You can connect it to a camera, a phone. You've got XLR connectivity. You've got USB microphone connectivity. There's no way you cannot connect this microphone. It even comes with its own stand. But is it any good? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to unbox this microphone. We're going to see how it sounds and if it can perform up to its specs. It even has an app to control it. I'm pretty excited about this because I've never seen anything like this before. So if you'd like to learn more about the Maono PD200W, well, keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, we're back. So today we're talking about this crazy microphone. This is a studio microphone that's wireless, has a battery in it, has a stand. What were they thinking when they made this? But this could be an incredible advancement for studio microphones because those wires sometimes they can be very restrictive. So let's take this out of the box and see what you get with this particular kit because this one comes with the phone connector. But right now, I'm also using the T5 by Maono. And this one has a very similar receiver to what this one can accept. So I'm wondering if this is compatible with my camera receiver on the T5. I'm going to try it out. No guarantees, but I do have the receiver for the phone. So we're going to have some kind of wireless connectivity, but we're going to explore all kinds of different options and experiment a little. Because unlike DJI, who tend to restrict each transmitter with every different receiver, I want to find out if Maono does the same thing. Or maybe they make all of their microphone systems kind of sideways compatible, so to speak. So let's go to the downward shot, get this thing out of the box and see what you get in the box. I'm really excited about this. Okay, so here it is. This is the box it comes with. It looks a lot like the other one that I have, but this one's got some RGB. It reminds me of the other 200 series, but this is completely wireless. And it has a built-in battery. So let's just take a look at around the box and see what it says on the box. It says here it's got a 50-meter wireless range. It has switchable real-time monitoring. So we're going to find out what that is. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So you can plug a headphone into it, and you can probably do that wirelessly too. It's got Maono Link software support. Now I have the link, so we're going to find out exactly what that does. Maybe it's got some noise cancellation features, one-touch mute, compatible with cameras, smartphones, and computers. There's nothing you can't connect this to. Smart control knob, and it's got a shock mount in it. So that prevents handling noise, and we're going to test that too. Now, if you look on the back of the box, this is what I got excited about, because this receiver looks a lot like the one that I'm using right now. And this one here is for the T5. And I'm going to try and link this with this receiver because it sure looks pretty close. But you never know. Could be on a different frequency. I might be in for a disappointment. But my hopes are up. My hopes are very, very up. So it's got a cardioid polar pattern. So this is a dynamic capsule. So that's going to be a natural way to eliminate surrounding noises. We've got mic gain. We've got RGB lighting. I love RGB lighting. That's great. Now, it's too bad it didn't come in white. I'm going to show you why. Because I have a nice RGB boom arm here, but I'm going to mount it to this because lots of RGB. And right now I have a white 5 fine on here, but I want to check this one out and see. So let's just go here and take this out. I haven't been excited about anything like this. This is an innovation. And I got to hand it to Maono because they're very creative on their stuff. They're very creative. Love the packaging. Packaging is nice. They've got different ways. They got a nice picture here on how to connect it. So you can connect it with the cables. You can connect it to your phone. You can connect it to a camera if you have the camera module. This one doesn't have the camera module. And I wonder if they're going to have a kit where it's got everything. So here again, here's how you would connect it to the camera. This module looks very much like the one that I have. The buttons and everything are in the same spot. I can't believe it. And we're going to check that out. And I'm also running this through a video switcher too. So I don't have a way to connect this receiver to my video switcher, but we might be able to connect the other one. But I will test it on my phone. That's a guarantee. Okay. Look at that. That is nice. And this must be the receiver. Yes, it is, by the looks of it. There's a USB cable. And this looks like a multi-cable. See? It's got the different connectors. You pop this one off and you've got another one there. Oh, yes. Comes with its own stand. So we're going to hook that up. You know we're hooking that up. And that's it feels heavy. Got nice rubber feet on it. This is pretty cool. There we go. Don't think there's anything else in the box. Nope. Throw the rest of the box there. So, this is what it looks like. Very exciting. And you've got the capsule. This removes. Fairly thick. And the capsule, and I'm just going to go a little closer, does not go right to the end, so that'll help with plosives. And this is how you can recharge it. And look, it's got a power on and off button. So if I push this and hold it, look at that. It's self-powered. You ever seen anything like that in your life? Wow, that is incredible. A studio microphone that I can hold in my hand that's wireless. I'm going to power it off for a second. I don't know how much juice it has, but we'll find out. But I'm going to have to probably test it out. I don't know how much charge they leave them to from the factory, but they're not fully charged. The stand goes together pretty simple. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. We've got, oh yeah, we've got this. You got this connectivity here. You put this on like so, spin that around. Okay. By the way, if you wanted to know what the T5 sounds like, I'm wearing it right now. I did mention it earlier, but we will. I'll tighten that up. Okay. There we go. So, I'm going to have to. Looks pretty good. And that's what it looks like. I'm just going to go back to me. There we go. That's what it looks like on the stand. Now, let's take a look at the receiver. So I'm going to have to move this aside a bit. Now, I want to let you know, before we go any further, so let me just go back to me. So, full disclosure, Maono sent me the PD200W. This was sent to me on embargo, so it hasn't been released into the stores yet. And I always agree to test things provided that I don't do sponsored videos. So that means they did not pay for the production of this video. And I also don't use paid affiliate links. So if you were to buy one of these, I don't get a commission. I accept gear like this just so that I can test new and exciting gear. It's kind of the best compromise I can think of, so that I can keep getting gear to show you what cool gear is out there, but also remain as neutral as possible. And I have been dealing with Maono for a while, and I have done reviews on other microphones for them before, and I've always been pretty happy with their products. So I keep all of the microphones that people send me just so that I can do comparisons, and each microphone always has its own personality. So I've said in many, many videos before, and I'm going to sound like a broken record, every microphone it's a tool, and every tool will have a specific use. And this one has a very unique specific use. So this is really cool because I can't wait to find out what this one can really do. So anyways, that's my disclosure. Not a sponsored video, and no paid affiliate links with Amazon either. So if you get this, I don't get anything. But I'm going to find out if it works good. And if it does, I'm going to tell you. If it doesn't, I'll let you know what problems I had. Okay, so having that out of the way, here we have, looks like a couple of O-rings. Not too sure what those are for. And here is the receiver. Don't know what the O-rings are for. Probably to keep this connected. Maybe it's to mount or hold it onto something. I'm not too sure. But you know, there's something else that you could do with this. And that is maybe connected to an action camera. I never thought of that too. Imagine connecting a studio microphone to an action camera. Wow, what a trip that would be. But I'm a little bit lost on what these are for. So let's take a look at the instructions. I call them the destructions. So that is USB-C. And it's got noise reduction. It says so right here, noise reduction on and off. So it has noise reduction. And here is the receiver. This sure looks a lot like the T5 receiver that I'm using. So we're going to check that out and see if it works, see if it pairs. I'm going to get the pairing instructions. And oh, they even included the frequency response. Look at that. I'm going to zoom in on that just so that you can get a better look at it. That's something that a lot of more budget microphones, I guess budget-friendly microphones, they don't sometimes include those things. So I just want to show you. So it's got a cardioid. This is a cardioid polar pattern. And this is the frequency response. So what this means, and I used to be an audio engineer, is they're trying to show that it's a fairly flat response. It's got a little bit of roll-offs here, which is normal for a studio microphone, and also on the highs. This is to prevent background noise and things like that. So, you know, you use these microphones in untreated rooms. So, and that's what that's about. Let me see if there's anything else. Increase gain, noise reduction, noise cancellation. Turn on the noise reduction to adjust the noise reduction by rotating the level knob. So, okay, so you got to push it for 3 seconds, and then it will change to different levels of noise reduction. So apparently you can turn it off. It's got low, medium, and high. 3 levels. 3 levels. Okay, increase the gain. Mode switch. Now, pairing. How do you pair it? And it says if I hold the button for 2 seconds, I can adjust the light ring indicator, and I can change the RGB lighting on it as well. So, how about that? So, 1 button press, and then I can change it from red to blue to green and all that other good stuff. XLR port, wireless microphone pairing. Okay, so now we're getting into the good stuff here. Okay, so it says here, when pairing, the microphone needs to have the pairing function turned on. Long press the power button for 6 seconds in the off state. Turn on wireless. Blue light will be flashing rapidly. And charging reminder will not appear. Battery level is 20%. Low power charging. So that's a 20% indicator flash. Be flashing orange. It flashes orange for 15 seconds when you're low on juice. So it does give you a warning. So the RGB isn't just for show. It's got a practical use too. So it alerts you when you get low on your battery. That is something that smaller microphones could benefit from, to be honest. So charge while powered on, not fully charged. When you're plugged in, powered on cable, turns on. Charging while powered off, orange. Fully charged, green. Power warning, use 20%. So it'll start to blink, orange. What do we got here? Noise level reduction. You control that on here. Turn on and off the phone speaker. So you can also, so this is a good feature to have. So a lot of times when you're recording with a microphone on your phone, you cannot hear the playback unless you unplug this guy. So you'd have to unplug it every single time to hear the playback. But this one has a feature where you don't have to do that. Okay. Noise reduction button on there. M safety track. Okay. Indicator light. Okay. So I'm going to stop what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to try and hook this up wirelessly to that other receiver from the T5. And then if that doesn't work, then I'm going to hook it up to the phone. And it doesn't say what these are. I'm not too sure what those are. Oh, I know what these are. I just figured it out. So on this microphone, if you look on the suspension cage, it's got O-rings for suspension. And these are 2 spares in case you break one. I just figured it out. Okay. Took a while, but I got it. All right. And wireless mode, USB-C mode, and then you've got XLR mode. There's XLR mode. You disconnect it to your audio interface. So, going to go back to me. We're going to connect this microphone up many different ways. So I'm going to connect it up to the G1 Neo. I'm going to connect it through the XLR, and I'm also going to connect it through the USB-C cable to my phone, and then I'm going to connect it wirelessly to the phone. And right now, because I'm so excited, I'm going to connect it to the T5 receiver, because nothing would make me more excited than to get this thing working wirelessly right to my video switcher through that. That would just be, you know, amazing. So I don't, I'm just weird that way, but I just want to test it out. So let me just hook that up. Okay, so I tried to hook it up to the T5 receiver, but it won't hook up to that receiver. So unfortunately, even though the receivers look the same, they're not the same. They're not on the same, I guess, sub carrier. So it's unfortunate, but I thought I'd give it a try. And I thought maybe they would do something a little different than DJI would did and try to make more stuff compatible. But even though the receiver looks identical, it's not running on the same frequency. So okay, so this is what it sounds like. Let me just try some. I want to see if there is some reverb. Can I hear some reverb? Oh yeah. Yeah, I can do some special effects with this microphone. There's some reverb. And the home of the brave. But I'm in Canada, so that wouldn't be right for me to sing that now, would it? But I'm half American. I'm half American. So I've got it hooked up now through the G1 Neo. Just going to move this webcam out of the way. And I'm going to go to the downward. So I've got it hooked up to the Maono G1 Neo. And this is what it sounds like. And I'm going to try and turn this down a bit because I don't want to clip it. There we go. Check 1, 2. Okay. So we got to make sure that our levels are good. I think our levels are pretty good. I can see the levels on the video switcher and they look okay. Not seeing anything that is clipping. The headphone one, you have to be careful. I know that the headphone one on here, you have to be very careful of because that's your monitor output. And I've got the noise reducer on. I got the side chain on. RGB is on. And I've got RGB. Like this microphone, I don't have it turned on right now because you don't need it powered when you're using it in XLR mode. So I'm just going to show you right now. The RGB is not on. But if I turn it on, let me just see something here. I can have the RGB and it will still work in XLR mode. So I'm just going to go back to me on the other side. I've been handling it. Can you hear me moving it around? How about plosives? Peter Piper picked a pack of peanuts. Well, that seems to be okay. I think it sounds okay. I'm not too sure. I'm going to turn up the reverb. So here's reverb now. So you can add some special effects. You know, now I'm in a concert hall ready to sing my top 40 hit. You know? Let's see if the other button's on here. And then I click it again and it's recording and it's recording my voice. Okay. All right, so, and the G1 Neo seems to be fully compatible with it. That's no surprise though. And I'm just going to turn down the reverb. So reverb is now off. So how does it sound? Do I have a rich, deep voice? You know, I know that the RGB is a nice touch, but we don't have to have it working. So even if the battery went dead, you'd be fine. And I just want to click on, okay, so I could, oh yeah, so that's how you do that. Okay, so you use the power button on the back to change the RGB. I just click it again, it's blue, that's where I usually keep it myself. There's some red, click it again, yellow, click it again, greenish, darker green. I kind of like that because it kind of indicates it's working. You know, but I know that my voice probably isn't handling it at the same time. Okay. So this is the coolest one. I like this one the best. It's kind of interesting. It's got different RGB settings. Now, if you hold the top button down, I think it toggles the, I thought I seen the noise cancellation go. Yeah. So you've got an adjustment here for headphone output and I believe noise cancellation as well. And of course, if I hit this, it doesn't mute it, but it looks cool. This is usually the preferred mode that I put these microphones in because I find that they sound the best this way. To connect this microphone through XLR, through the G1 Neo, and then the G1 Neo to a computer, I can do that. So that is a possibility. So if you want things like reverb and all kinds of other effects, or you want to hear, and then I click it again and it's recording, and it's recording my voice. And the other thing too is this has Bluetooth connectivity, so I can add music, and it even has a sidechain feature where if I talk, it will compress or lower the music so that my voice is always above the background music, which is kind of a cool feature too. Very professional feature. And of course, the mute button should work. And the mute button does work. So I've got the Maono app already on my phone because I use it. And it's found the PD200W. And here I am. So I've got it connected through the XLR, and I can see my levels. I just want to show you the camera on the camera here. So can you see my levels on this part here too on the phone? So I've got it connected two separate ways simultaneously. It says I got the monitor volume up to 20. Noise reduction is on aggressive. So if I put it on slight, well, let's change slight. So you can change wirelessly the level of noise reduction. And it also says I've got different voice settings. So I'm just going to go to the downward shot because I got to show you this because this is crazy on how this works. And there we go. So on the phone here, and I'm just going to move my light off. It is causing a bit of a glare. All right, so on the phone, we have original scene mode, podcast mode, game, and singing mode. So we're going to switch to podcast, and it's got podcast 1, podcast 2. And I can control the RGB lighting here. Brightness is at 15%. So I can turn up the brightness on the RGB with this. That's interesting. Let's just show that in the camera. RGB is now cranked right up on there. So that's going to kill your battery faster. And it says here I can do breathing or fixed. So I've got it on breathing right now. And I can do blue. This is loop. So it does all the colors. I like loop. Loop is good. All right. And then I can turn it on or I can turn it off using the phone. So I'm just going to show. Here it is on, and I'm going to click it off. Oops. There we go. That's off, and that's on. Okay. So let me just get out of there. So I can see my levels. This is kind of interesting. And then it says microphone gain, and I can turn up the gain. So there I go. I've got the gain all the way up, and it seems to be not doing anything on the XLR, but it is doing more on the phone. And it says my battery level is at 63%. So just going back to the other camera, 63% on the batteries. Can you see that? Okay, good. All right. And that's what that looks like. And you'll benefit mostly when you're recording on the phone. So let me just see if I can do a recording on the phone as like a backup recording. And I've also got that one there. Okay. Now I'm going to go into my camera. I'm going to go into movie mode, go into my settings, activate the wireless microphone, and then I'm going to hit record. Now I'm recording to the video switcher and to my phone at the same time. How about that? Now, what does that mean? Well, it probably means that if I wanted to do a live stream from my phone and use this microphone at the same time, I could record a studio version, like a pre-recorded version for YouTube uploading. The fact that I can do them both simultaneously, and the fact that I can use one type of voice treatment through the Maono G1 Neo, this will be the recorded version, and then a completely different version on the phone that's going to be heard by the podcast audience. So that's kind of cool, and let me just flip this. I got my camera facing the wrong way. So anyways, it's not going to make a difference on that. But let's see how we can play this back, because I really want to see what this sounds like. So I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm just going to click on this, and we're going to play it back at the same time. How about that? Now, what does that mean? Well, it probably means that if I wanted to do a live stream from my phone and use this microphone. So that is what's coming out of the phone. So I can record on the same time to my phone as I can through the XLR for YouTube uploading. The fact that I can do them both simultaneously, and the fact that I can use one type of voice treatment through the Maono G1 this will be the recorded version, and then a completely different version on the phone. So that's pretty cool. That just gives you all kinds of new creative outlets. A lot of people live stream from their phone, but they don't know how to hook it up through their video switcher. So that's really incredible that you can do that. And there are many platforms like TikTok and things like that where you may want to record onto both platforms at the same time, and you can use the same microphone. How crazy is that? So you will have a different feed, let's say for your TikTok. So you would set up your phone beside your camera, and then you would do the live stream, hook this up, have the feed go through there directly to TikTok or another app, maybe perhaps Rumble or one of those, because they also have live streaming. And you can also have it go to your video switcher to be recorded so you can upload to YouTube later. I got to tell you, I wasn't getting excited for no reason. This kind of blows my mind. The only thing that I'm a little disappointed on was the fact that this other receiver won't link to it. And if that had a link to it, that would have been mind-blowing. So I'm going to be doing a clip of the selfie cam on my phone with this microphone to show you what that sounds like and looks like. So here's a clip of that. Okay, so right now I'm demonstrating the Maono PD200W wireless studio microphone. I got this thing plugged into my phone. Yeah, and you can plug it into a camera too. They have different types of receivers, but right now we got it on the controlled settings. I think it's got on noise cancellation. Yeah, I got noise cancellation on aggressive, and I'm going to show you how to adjust all of the settings on the fly just using the microphone without having to go into the app. So we're going to just position my phone a bit here. So this is the top dial. So this one here I figured out is the headphone. And when it's blinking, it's telling you at the max level. And when it's not, when it dims down, because it's going to dim down, this would be at the minimum level. I don't have headphones plugged in right now because I don't need them. And then if I click it once, just briefly, now this is your gain. So if I turn this down, you're going to hear my voice slowly disappear. I'm disappeared. I'm going to turn it back up again. This is my voice up. I'm going to go back down again just to show you another demonstration. All right, so this is what the gain is. Now, if you want to adjust the noise cancellation on the fly, you simply hold this down and it will turn green. Now, bright green is aggressive noise cancellation. If I give it one click, it's going to be less aggressive. One click more, this is slight aggressive, or I should say, sorry, slight noise cancellation. And then when it's totally blinking down there, we don't have any noise cancellation. And when I look at the receiver on the phone, the light goes blue, meaning that there's no noise cancellation. So this is, you can hear my air conditioner now. Now I'm going to turn it up to 1. And by the way, once you don't touch it for a bit, you got to hold it down again. Okay. And so now this is slight, the slight noise cancellation. This is more aggressive. And I believe this is the most aggressive noise cancellation. So this thing is crazy. Look at this. XLR, USB-C into the phone, or wireless into the phone, or wireless into a camera, or XLR into a camera. Like, I've never seen anything like this. And it sounds pretty good. Are you hearing any plosives? Peter Piper picked a pack of peanuts. Any plosives? I think this thing sounds really good. Probably one of the coolest microphones I've seen in a long time. This thing's going to be big at Christmas. Also, the receiver on the phone has 2 spots. Can you hook up 2 of these? I don't know, but I'm pretty excited. I'd like to know if you could hook up another one of these. So, Maono, if you're listening, send me another one if you can. I'd like to hook up 2 of these and check them out because I really think that this thing is incredible. Anyways, that's it for this part of the video. I'm going to hook it up to the Osmo Pocket 3 and see what it can do. And I think it might work this pretty much the same because that's why you have that dial, right? That dial gives you all of that flexibility on the fly. Okay, so now we're checking out the Maono PD200W using the cable. So I've got the USB-C cable hooked up to it. So now it is a USB-C microphone. And I've got it hooked into my phone so we can see how that sounds. You can control all of the features. I'm just going to show you using this dial right here. So I'm going to turn it down. And I'm slowly raising my gain. And if I click on it, this is headphones. Hold it down. Now we're in noise cancellation. So this is noise cancellation off. Should be able to hear the air conditioner. And this is noise cancellation in aggressive. Okay, so this is a test to see if it'll work on the Osmo Pocket 3. I have the noise cancellation on, and I have the gain all the way up. Now, it's a little bit, I'm peaking on the Pocket 3, so I'm going to turn down the gain. And there we go. I think that that's a little better. Seems to be a little more sensitive on the Pocket 3 for gain. And yeah, this is what it sounds like. Pretty cool. Wireless microphone hooked up to the Pocket 3. A portable studio. This is crazy, I'm telling you. This microphone, so you could turn your Osmo Pocket 3 into a portable recording studio, podcast studio setup. No problem at all. You know, if you use your phone, you could directly broadcast to, you know, your TikTok, things like that. Like the possibilities for this are endless. Like I can see people, I don't see these things staying on the shelves very long when it can do all of these cool things. I don't know what they're going to charge for this microphone, but if they price it competitively, they're going to sell a lot of them. We'll see what the price is. I don't know what the price is going to be. Like I said, I got this on embargo, and I won't know the exact audio until I play this back, but we're going to check this out. I have a feeling it's going to sound a lot like the PD300 that I got, and that sounded pretty good. I think that all in all, this is a pretty good microphone. And if I turn it off to the side, you're going to see it rejects me a bit on the side. So we're going to do our standard rejection test to see if the cardio pattern does that. And this is what it sounds like when I'm talking to the back of the microphone. Okay, so I've tested the microphone onto the phone. I've tested it, and you've heard the clips. It sounds pretty good. I didn't notice anything unusual about how it sounded. It wasn't distorted or anything like that. I got a chance to listen to the recorded version on here, and it was pretty good too. Uh, I was a little concerned about one thing, because sometimes when you try to expect too much out of a microphone, then it doesn't really do any one job particularly well. But I think that it is going to be a hit. I think Maono has a real innovative hit on their hand. It's been very cool, and I like the fact that the RGB, you can get the RGB going too if you want to use it. You can just have it for just that reason if you want to use it in XLR mode. So tell me in the comments if you thought XLR or the USB or the wireless version, like how they all sounded. And it has a 50-meter distance test, so we're not going to do a distance test with one of these, but the average distance for like broadcasting. So if you were using this in, let's say, a news situation, or you wanted to hook it up to a camera and you wanted to look professional, newscasters are about 8 to 10 feet away. This is going to be well within that means, and you're more than likely, it doesn't matter if you're going to be facing it, or even if you're not in line of sight, it's still going to work just fine. It said 50 meters on the box. That's 150 feet. You're not going to be 150 feet. So 8 to 10 feet is reasonable. If it's good for 150, you should be able to turn around and be in any orientation, and you should still get a decent signal at 8 to 10 feet. And that is a realistic distance. So, if you're in a podcast studio setup, your equipment wouldn't be any more than 20 feet away, probably at the most, even with the cameras and everything like that. So the nice thing is on this receiver, it had room for two of these. So it looks like you can connect two of them to their phone. So imagine having two of these. So that's pretty cool. So I can't wait to see what they sell this thing for. I think it's going to be a real winner, and I like the way it looks, and the handling noise is good. I'm playing around with it. Like, I've been moving this thing around, and I don't hear any handling noise, so it seems pretty good. Plosives, Peter Piper picked. So if you want to naturally get rid of plosives, then you tilt your microphone like this. Don't talk directly into it, but I'm seem to be doing okay. So anyways, that's it for this video. I really want to thank Maono for sending out the PD200W. It is an honor and a privilege to do embargoes. I don't take embargoes lightly. I am a tech junkie, and getting something before it is even in the stores is very exciting and very cool. And sometimes you can run into problems, but as a person that's very tech oriented, I understand when these things happen, but I had no issues with this. This thing worked flawlessly right out of the box. So really, really cool. So anyways, take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.